Really very heartening to be in the middle of this crowd. It's really nice because of two reasons. One, because the subject that I've chosen is really close to my heart. Because I don't live in India for around 10 years now, I kind of miss my festivals, and that's where this comes from. And how I'm connected with these festivals is through these songs. And the digitalization that we are talking about, this kind of brings me closer to my culture and my people. So I mean, it's really very powerful and nice to be here. And as I started talking about this, so as I started, looking at the data, I decided that I would take 15 songs, 15 church songs from, which were sung by Sharda Sinha. There were, there is no particular reason for choosing her, but I kind of respect her because she started quite early. Now there are a lot of other singers who record these church songs, but she has been through a lot. And I also, seen some of her interviews, and I realized that she has really been, she has really painted this picture of Bihar in being, culturally rich through her songs, through her folk songs. So that's exactly the reason why I chose her. And so these are the two things in my presentation that I'm going to talk about today. And as I start talking about this, I will also try to base my study on this, literary idea that no man is island, no man is an island. We all live together. And when it comes to folk songs, or any kind of folklore, folk culture, folk tales, or any kind of, any folk-related cuisine, I mean, any particular regional cuisine. It's all very rich, but it's very flexible. It can change from one person to the other. And there are some nice, work already. I was going through some articles, and I realized that it's really beautiful that how things change. So there's somebody called SRB, and a lot of authors there in 2017, they talk about how the demography of that particular place kind of makes these cultural complexity of folk tales important. It just means this, that if there are more people who practice this, we have, more variations, and we have richer practices. So that's what this person talks about. And then there are, other people, like Burke tries to say is that there are some intangible assets that we have. And there is this talk also in media about soft power. So this is what culture is about. So when we are talking about folklore, when we are talking about, anything related to our, oral tradition, for example, it is all very flexible, and it changes over the generation, but it still is intact and it stays with us. We are so connected with that. So that's one. And then Knox in 2007 brings out this notion that, this heritage is very important, and it can also connect us to tourism, it can connect us to development. And now, I mean, I'm personalizing my journey to this, and I'm trying to say that when I was in Japan, I remember the first time I went for a fellowship, it was a Diwali day, and it was morning. I opened the curtains, and I felt so lonely. It was really like I went and wrote a blog on that. Those days blogs were read, or even now they are, but I mean, those days I used to blog. So I really felt so lonely that I had to share it with someone. And I felt that nobody here knows that it's a festival for me. And I really felt that I'm, totally separated, and I live just somewhere else. And I really missed miss somewhere. If when I was in Chennai, even then we had very little celebration on Diwali, but still it felt like Diwali. But in Japan it was totally different. So this continued even after marriage, when I started living, and I've lived in Tokyo and Thailand. I particularly talk about this because Thailand has a very different way of preserving their culture. And they have tried to commodify it through tourism. And they have done it very well, like even the massages that they do. There are a lot of different ways in which we take it, but they are actually very rooted, and there is a history behind those massages. And don't we have oil massages? We do have, right? So that's part of their culture, and that's how they try to continue it. But they also try to paint a picture, an image of themselves. So I'm trying to start with this emotional stuff, this sentimental idea, and then I come to Chhat, and where I'm talking about this cultural practice. Again, we were talking, and it was really rightly said that it can be said of folk culture, and it can be a very religious activity. For now, I don't demarcate it. I just connect it to this sense of identity, feeling a sense of belongingness is what I'm trying to look at. And that's why I would say that these folk songs that are sung during Chhat are, these folk songs are not just festival specific. There are in different ceremonies that we sing. Like if there is a marriage, people, they say at least 3 or 5 songs. You sing here and then it will be done. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, so songs are very important, and they try to, and it's very nice. There's again this story which goes on like this, that when I was a kid, I saw that people used to write on their notebooks, and they used to, oh, someone has those songs in that notebook written. So I would go there, get the songs, and then sing them, prepare, and then, that was part of that ceremony, part of the preparations. So it has a lot of things which are rooted in us, but then everybody did it different, and there was a scope for innovation. And that's what some people talk about when they talk about folklore. I'll also give an example from Indonesia. If you ever happen to go to Indonesia, please watch this dance which is called Kecak dance. It is a dancing troupe that they also sing and dance at the same time, and the stories are from Ramayana. So I don't know if it was very nice, and they again preserve it in that form, and I'm sure they earn well with that. Now coming to Sharda Sinha, I listened to 2 of her interviews. One was done in Maithili, done in Mithila Mirror by Lalit Narayan Jha, and the other one was Lalantop, which was done after she received her Padma Bhushan. So that was in 2018. And there she talks about 2 things which really stands out, and in that interview she says that she also has a classical music training, but then she started singing folk songs. First time she sang a folk song to get a naik. Naik is something where you stop the threshold and ask your brother for some money, and don't let him enter. Like it's a newly wed. I don't have to explain it in this context, or maybe we can talk about this later. So she started with this, and she said that when I heard this song, I heard it in a different tune. I tried to change it, and I sung it. So the way she sang that naik song, it's more or less the same tune in which she sings most of her church songs, the very famous ones, especially the Dinanath song that she sings for Anadin Ugai Cha Ho Dinanath. So the use of Ho Dinanath is also Ho Bhaiya. That's how she asks for naik there. So she tries to bring in there, but she realizes that only after she got her award, or when she got when she started being noticed, she realized that she's doing a big work. And I'll just quote her. She says that what I'm doing is I'm trying to, bring something out from. So आंगन के बाहर मैं कुछ ले जा रही हूँ. इससे पहले ये सब कुछ आंगन में होता था. लोग ये गाने गाया करते थे और हर सेरेमनी में, शादियों में ये गाया जाता था. पर अब जब मैंने इसको रिकॉर्ड किया तो ये आंगन से बाहर चला गया है. कोई अगर मिस करता है या कोई अगर सुनना चाहता है तो कभी भी सुन सकता है. So this is what she didn't know that she's doing something so strong. But I mean, in this case, of course, digitalization has really worked, where it's not just the digitization, but it's also that human touch that she has tried to bring along in these recordings. And that's really really beautiful. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll talk about, the first thing I'll do is, how much time do I have? I have 10 minutes at least? Yes. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly try to analyze these 15 songs, like whatever I have tried to look at. And then I'll also talk about 3 videos that came out in 2006, 2015, and 2021 during COVID times. So this is my data, and I'll talk about this. The 4 things that I've broadly, I mean, it's also mentioned in the manual that we received in the synopsis. I'll try to talk about those 4 things. And now coming to the preparations, it's a strict preparation. Always, Chhat is considered to be, a very difficult ceremony, and that's why people are, people do it together, or family members come together. I remember when I was a student, I never had a holiday, but I came back home because I knew it's going to be difficult for my mom. And so here in this song also, that can be seen where it is difficult. Difficult in the sense that as it becomes difficult, it also becomes authentic in that sense, okay? So people try to keep it as authentic as possible, and then they try to, prepare for things like prepare for soup, prepare for pool, prepare for people how, getting the fruits, and these are some of the examples, if you can see them. And, I'm not, we don't have so much time to just sing and enjoy and relish, but I'm sure you'll go back home and listen to them, and soon there's, this festive season of Diwali and Chhat coming up, so that's also good timing. Similarly, there's also a call for, Tuhi Babu Dorua Le Jaiha. So here again, somebody's, some young male child who is a grown-up is kind of addressed and said that you should carry this daura because it is heavy and I need your support. So this is being used in the song, and also then it is also said Kon Khet Janma Dhan Sudhan. So we kind of try to pick up things, prepare for different types of things. I'll also say, like, there's mention of dhan, there's mention of gehu, there's mention of different kinds of fruits and things that we prepare for, like, in earlier slide there was kela, seb, nariyal. And then again talking about baratina and parijan. So it means that it's not just the person who is doing this fast or doing Chhat, but people who are together with her, who are helping her, supporting her. They are, joining hands, and they are together, worshipping people, doing. So here it's a context of Karti Gohar. So and there it just means that it's a collective thing. It's not just one person who does Chhat, but it's also a feeling of society and people coming together. I move on to coming to talking about instruments. Of course, I mean, you listen to different songs and there are different types of instruments that are used, but the use of flute, dholak, tabla, shehnai, harmonium, these kind of give that folk touch. And especially if you listen to some live music, you would realize that, tabla and harmonium are so important, and so is shehnai. So that's one thing. And then coming to languages, which I ended up mentioning while I was writing the abstract. But I realized that these Chhat songs are, irrespective of whichever language they are written in or they are sung in, it is popular and it is relished by people from different parts of Bihar, or for that matter, people who do Chhat outside Bihar also. Okay, so that way, there are two instances which I just put here. So in Maithili, there is this song which is sung that Andin Ugaicha Hodinanat Ahe Bhor Bhinsar, and in Bhojpuri we have Kaisan Bipati Ai. So there are these instances like that. But the other thing that I noticed was it talks about this religious faith where the supernatural connect is there, but somewhere the person who is the worshipper is, given this sense that they are, ready to offer themselves. And if I do any, I'm trying my best, I'm making my best efforts, but if I make any mistakes, please forgive them. That's how these songs are written, and they are, there are instances of like this. But it also means that this supernatural power is quite strong, and it helps people. Okay, so if so the example here I saw that Baat mein bheti gel abla ekta anhra purush. So if we say it's an if somebody who is blind would get healed by this, or get some, or it can be somebody like Bachinia. There is a use of this term, somebody who cannot, have children. So it is like getting blessing from the deities that people are worshipping. And along with this, also the vulnerables like Godiya ke balaka ke di hai, Chhati Maiya mamta apar. So these type of lines are used to, and it's not just for the vulnerable only, but also for people in the family. We also see that there are a variety of, like the same couplets, they are repeated for each of the family members, and different kinds of things that they would need or want. So it is tweaked for each family member. So that's what is done. And then we also have this idea of ideal society. How do I say? It's not ideal society like something that you really want for, like an example that you see here. So Mangila Ham Bardan is a sense of ideal from Ramayana, where she says Janakpur Naihar Diha Sasur Avadpur Saman. So it just comes from people, they have some sense of, idealistic notion, and the notion of Ram and Sita always comes in these songs whenever it can. Okay, so now I would come to these three videos, and these three videos that were released, they have a very strong storyline where they were trying to bring back residents of Bihar for Chhat, or trying to say that younger generation should take up this, and they should be doing Chhat themselves. So these three videos in 2006, 15 and 2021, I will talk about them in very short. Where the first one, it talks about that, as I mentioned earlier also, we don't have any leaves for Chhat outside Bihar, as much as I know. So it just so happens that in this video also there is a person who is doing some corporate work and really busy with his work, but cannot come back home. So they have a phone conversation, and mother calls him to come home. Sister also, says that, what are you getting home for me, etc. And then he first says that, no, I'm really busy, I don't want to come back. I won't be able to make it this time. But then he really comes back, and it was really, I mean, it was really touching. It's not just me, but whoever, like any Bihari friend that I have, they all always talk about these songs from Sharda Sinha, and they say that these videos are really very moving and they are very relevant for us. Now the other song which we have on younger generation, there are two of these. Okay, so I'll talk about them. Younger generation stuff, there are two different videos. The first video, it talks about, again, a mother-in-law calling her son and her daughter-in-law. I know maybe you all know about this, but just trying to say that here, the daughter-in-law takes the onus, even though she's not from a culture of Bihar. She doesn't know how Chhath is done. But she takes up this opportunity and she says that I'm going to do Chhath from now onwards. And she cannot come back to where her mother-in-law is, but she starts doing Chhath wherever they live. So it ends in a positive note again. And then another one is where there's son, and son says that, aren't you doing Chhath this time, asking his mother. Mother says that no, I'm diabetic, I can't do Chhath anymore. I have health conditions and the doctor has said that it's not possible to get into that kind of serious fasting. So son takes up this job of really doing Chhath himself, which is different. I mean, I'm trying to this coming back here that males are also brought in that video. I'm trying to say that males also do Chhath. It's not the first time that this video shows, but they also take this cultural practice in stride, and they really do involve in things. And the third video shows that slowly, I mean, this has really gotten very strong, and there is a strong message that is conveyed through this video during COVID, that this time it's not safe to go to ghat, going to river or ponds and doing Chhath like usual years. But this time, maintaining social distancing, people should do that at their own home, in their homes, in their terraces. And Sharda Sinha even comes, and it's like a public ad where she comes and she says that let's be responsible and let's not do Chhath moving out of our houses. Let's do it from our house. Okay, and there is the lines. The songs are the third one. The song is the same, which starts with this कि पटना के घाट पर ही जाके वो छठ करेगी, वो और कहीं नहीं जाएगी. That's the beginning of this. That देखिए छठी मैया. I'm just going to go to Patna's ghat and I'm going to do my Chhath. But it is contradicting itself by bringing this song and telling that Bahangi se bhi bhari is baar ka samay hai, so it's very difficult to go to ghat. That's why let's be more socially responsible and do it at home. So these type of couplets are used to create this awareness through these songs. So they are strong. They are very strong. But then, apart from church songs, I would just like to conclude here that apart from these church songs also, Sharda Sinha has painted an image for Bihar, not just, and in her interview, she talks about this challenge that she had. Bhojpuri songs were very popular. And whenever she did recording, she had to sing Bhojpuri songs. Even church songs are mostly in Bhojpuri. And many people, they do not know that Sharda Sinha is actually from a Maithili speaker. So it just so happened that in that interview she mentions that people who are from her community, they felt bad about it, and tried to isolate her, telling that she sings songs from the other community. So maybe she doesn't know proper Maithili because she sings a lot of Bhojpuri. But instead she tried to bring in Maithili in these songs. She also, in her interview, she mentions that she sung a bhajan by Vidyapati, which is called Jai Jai Bhairavi, and she recorded that song. T-Series back then was the only, recorder, and she just asked them that no, at least one song should be in Maithili, and I wanted to be that. So she had gone through this, and also as a woman, it would have been difficult to sing on the stage. She says that the first time when she was a child, as she was a school-going kid, and she just went on the stage and sang a Saraswati Vandana, there were some people who were upset with this, that a female should not do that. I mean, times have changed. Now everybody thinks it differently. We want to, preserve our art, and we want our kids to learn different types of singing and perform. It's important. But for her it was difficult. She even said that, but then she also mentions that she had support before marriage. Her father supported her, and after marriage it was her husband who supported her, in spite of, there were cases where she says that there were, like her mother-in-law, she went on a fast for 5 or 6 days because, she was going to record singing. And it was, back then, it would have been a big challenge. And she did that. And why I repeatedly say that she has painted this Bihari image through these folk songs, because a lot of her songs have come to Bollywood as well, where she sings for cinema also. And earlier she was not so aware about that, but slowly as we see that, there are a lot of examples. If you pick up very, years ago in Maine Pyar Kiya she sang, and very recently she also sang in Gangs of Wasepur. So this Bihar, the identity of Bihar through folk songs that she projects is really admirable, and I'm really inspired. And I really want to say that it's only after her, maybe, there are more people who are coming forward and they are singing more. That could be, the case. Thank you so much for giving a patient listening.
धन्यवाद निवेदिता जी। नहीं, बहुत नीक लागल जहाँ शारदा जी के लक बहुत रास बात कलम, शारदा सिन्हा के लक, जिनका हम मैथिली कोकिला कहना पसंद करें।
Slightly, I guess, slightly beyond, going beyond your proper theme. That how do you see Chhat Puja from gender lens? Because even some of the songs talks about prayer regarding male child. Even if you go to the practice also, you will find a majority of the pujas are a kind of mannat for male child. So there is a very strong gender dimension to it, and which is particularly important in the context of Bihari culture and Bihar's social.
I got your question. Thank you. I hope this works. It's okay? Yeah. Yes, I have that complaint. But then, the society is like that. We do have gender issues. So if the songs have it, we cannot complain. Things are changing, and it will take some time for the songs to change also. I remember when I was a kid, I would complain to my mother that why do you say and why do you just ask for, son? Why not a daughter? At a particular age, I know, females, when they grow up, they get rebellious. There are particular years when they get through that. I'm a mother now, so I know. So even if there is, but there is a gender construct in society. We were talking about this. So of course it's going to reflect in our songs. I don't want to refute that. But as an academician, or even as a human being, I would say I accept it, and I want to bring that change. But that doesn't mean I don't, celebrate the festival. I like it still. Yeah.
केवल क्वेश्चन, केवल क्वेश्चन, नो क्वेश्चन ही हम करते हैं। एकटा जे क्वेश्चन है छठ पूजा के तो समग्रता के सिद्धांत पे तो कोई संबंध नहीं छै कियाकि यह एक पावन छै जाहिमे बेटी मांगे के वरदान छै। हमरा पूरे भारत में हम एतेक जगह घुमलहुँ है, इवन फॉरेन में भी रहलहुँ है, लेकिन बेटी मांगे के कोनो फोक सॉन्ग देखू हम बिहार के छठ पूजा में देखलहुँ। पर एक क्वेश्चन अहाँ मिस केलहुँ है, वो छै समरसता के सिद्धांत, इगैलिटेरियन सोसाइटी। छठ पूजा के गीत में इगैलिटेरियन के जते व्यापकता है वो कतौ अहाँ के रिसर्च में मिस भेल।
अच्छा, हम बुझलहुँ ने यहाँ
इगैलिटेरियन समरसता कहल जाए छै।
समरसता
इगैलिटेरियन या एक तरह से बुझो कि आत्मवत सर्वभूतेषु पश्यति स पंडिता सबके ये बहुत बड़का क्वेश्चन छै।
या ठीक
में क्यों नीचे सब बराबर
से छै, लेकिन हम देखने छी कि जे हमरा ओतऽ काज करै छथिन वो घाट के दोसर दिस करै छथिन छठ, और हम सब जहाँ करे छी कहीं और करे छी। हम हाँ तो छै सब गोटे करे छी, लेकिन तैयो there is differentiation based on caste।
पर कनी वर्क हो के चाहिए।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल हम सहमत छी।
आरो सवाल हेबाक चाही।
हाँ, this is a big observation that social media has also told us. Two things about Chhath. It is a celebrated fact, and the second, that this is one of the festivals where we also worship sunset and not just sunrise. So this is brought out, and I mean, where it comes from, I don't know, but I mean, it is prevalent and people do talk
This
about
is
it.
not the egalitarianism. This point is not the egalitarianism.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
I would like to also connect it with his comment at the end of my talk. See, the entire Bhojpuri media industry per se also hinges on the fact that it would like to have this air of respectability through these devotional songs as well, right? So when we speak of Bhojpuri media industry as vulgar and in a body, it's mostly, it comes from a certain idea of caste itself, right? So I think in the morning itself there was a wonderful talk by Professor Sishir, right? So he talked about the democratization of media, right? And it is with this democratization that a lot of these undercaste groups got opportunity to express themselves, whereas they were done in folk angles or not is a totally different idea altogether. And that is where the kind of anger, resentment towards Bhojpuri media is also hinted at, that it does not always deal with what is folk about Bihar, of Bihar, whereas it talks about a general populistic ways of expressing or mining songs from elsewhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the entire bhajan song genre itself in Bhojpuri allows Bhojpuri media to also make a claim for respectability, is what I would like to draw your attention to. Thank you.
Sure, yeah, thank you. Thank you, that was nice. Really relished earlier, before this populistic thing came up. So we should also remember that.
So just for your information, Delhi government has a holiday for Chhath.
Oh, I'm so
and
sorry.
Assam government has a holiday for Chhath.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that.
ये बिहार के सीमा के टेप चुकल छे आदि, खाली बिहारे तक सीमित अब नहीं रह गई है, बिहार के सीमा से टेप गेल छे, आगू बढ़ गेल छे। लेकिन अहाँ के लेख से निवेदिता जी, अहाँ के टॉक से हमरा ई बुझा में आयल कि शारदा सिन्हा के गीत सब बिहार के आइडेंटिटी अहाँ केना ड्रॉ केलिए,
हम एक
बिहार के केना पहचान लिए, अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिहार थ्रू शॉर्ट सॉन्ग, और अहाँ के केस स्टडी चला शारदा सिन्हा के गीत, तो ओकरा जरिए बिहार के केना अंडरस्टैंड के लिए से कनी संक्षेप में हमरा समझा दिया।
हाँ जरूर, शायद हम वहाँ तक पहुँच नहीं सके, पर शुरू यहाँ से किया था कि छठ सॉन्ग्स पॉपुलर हैं सारे, मतलब जो लोग भी छठ करते हैं उनमें ये पॉपुलर होता गया, और बाहर के लोग भी शारदा, जो बिहारी नहीं भी हैं, वो भी शारदा सिन्हा को जानने लगे। तो हमारा जो इमेज है बिहार का वो कहीं कहीं बहुत नेगेटिव है, पर ये जो सॉफ्ट पावर और ये जो कल्चरल इमेज है ये शारदा सिन्हा के सॉन्ग्स के थ्रू आता है, ये फोक सॉन्ग्स। एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट शारदा सिन्हा, देयर आर मोर पीपल। आई हैव फॉर माई स्टडी आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट शारदा सिन्हा, एंड आई काइंड ऑफ admired her. That's why I just took her as an artist. And she brings it to the popular media also, and that's what I try to say, that it's not just limited to folk songs, but she also has come to Indian cinema now, and she tries to depict that folk culture through her songs.
कोनो और सवाल नहीं? समय तो पहले सब राजीव बाबू पहले खत्म भ गेल। तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद निवेदिता जी।
थैंक यू।
अहाँ के लिए एतेक समय दिलिए, एठाम बजलिए। आइ हमरा लोकनि एखन एहि सत्र में 4 विषय पर बात सुनलहुँ, वार्ता केलहुँ, बातचीत केलहुँ, एते नीक विमर्श, नीक पेपर सब आयल। ऐसा पहले कोलका में हम एक पेपर सुनने रही आइडेंटिटी के सवाल से, शायद राजेश कुमार जी के अति चलन पेपर चलन हो, आइडेंटिटी के बात कर रही थी। और ये आइडेंटिटी के पास घूम फिर कर क्या तरह से नहीं है, और वो ठीक से हमारा हिसाब से सरिये नहीं। व्हाट इज आइडेंटिटी? आइडेंटिटी छे की, और खास कर मैथिल के लिए, पर्टिकुलरली मैथिली स्पीकिंग पीपुल के, मैथिल माने मैथिल ब्राह्मण नहीं, मुश्किल ही कि मैथिल कहला से सिर्फ मैथिल ब्राह्मण के बोध हो। एकदम मिसनोमर, गलत संदेश जगह लगे, लेकिन सही से तेना मैथिल से जना बंगाली से पूरा बांग्ला स्पीकिंग पीपुल के बोझ हो। बंगाली अहाँ के देखतो अहाँ पहचान देवे, पंजाबी के देखतो पहचान देवे, मैथिल के देख के पहचान नहीं सकब। हमरा लोग बहुत तेज समुदाय छी, हमरा लोग कोनो चीज के बहुत जल्दी कॉपी करे छी, उतार ले छी अपना आप में, चेंज एते चेंज कर ले छी कि अहाँ नहीं चिन्ह सकब कि हम भारत देश भारतीय बुझ जाब, भारत देश कोन क्षेत्र से छी, मिथिला क्षेत्र से छी तो नहीं पता में चलत। ये हमरा जनैत मिथिला क्षेत्र के लिए आइडेंटिटी के सबसे पैघ क्राइसिस छै, और ओकरा आइडेंटिफाई करऽ पड़तै कि हम एहन कोन अवयव के बढ़ाबी, कोन अवयव के जे छै से और उन्नत करी, ओकरा पर अधिक से अधिक काज करी। जे छै बहुत रास अवयव एहन छै जे पर काज कऽ सकै छथि, मैं प्रदीप बाबू सनक विद्वान व्यक्ति सब में लागल छथि, और ई खुशी के बात सेहो छै जे ओ हमर आइडेंटिटी के स्पष्ट करत, जे हमर गुण के संगे संगे एडेप्टेबिलिटी के जे हमर गुण अछि, जे हम कतौ जाकर केहनो बनि जाइ छी, जे रंग के रहते हम वही रंग के बनि जाइ छी, जे रंग के रंग छै जतऽ के वही रंग में रंग जाइ छी हम। ई जे हमर गुण अछि, एहि गुण के संग संग हम अपन खासियत जे और विशेष गुण जे हमर कल्चरल जे गुण अछि, कल्चरल आइडेंटिटी अछि, तकरा हम कह सकी, हम उम्मीद करै छी बात के लेल। हम बहुत धन्यवाद दै छी। हमरा सन अल्पज्ञानी और कई अज्ञानी कहब चाही, हमरा सन अज्ञानी आदमी के से अहाँ एतेक सम्मान देलहुँ, बैसेलहुँ, एतेक बढ़िया सत्र के संचालन करक मौका दिलहुँ, हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दै छी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आभार।
बड़ा नीक लागल।
अब हम श्री मुनिंद्रकांत जी के आग्रह करबन जे एठाम आबैत एक बेर। मंगनू भाई एक बेर।
बहुत सुंदर संचालन, बड़ा
और बिना ब्रेक का हम एक फीडबैक सेशन करेंगे अभी आधे घंटे के लिए, इसलिए आपसे आग्रह है कि अपने स्थान पे बने रहें।